right, this video is an overview of what we're going to do today and how to adapt a toy. So everyone has a toy. You'll either have a hard plastic toy like this or a plush toy. The first thing you want to do is to turn everything on, put batteries in the toy, make sure that everything works like normal, how you would expect. I can't tell you how many times we've gotten toys that just didn't work out of the box, and then you're the one that thinks that you broke the toy when that wasn't the case to begin with. So turn the toy on, play with it a little bit, get an understanding of what buttons do what. When we adapt the toy, we want to try to choose a button that gives us the most bang for the buck. So a button that makes the toy move or vibrate or light up or sing a song. You want to kind of avoid buttons that just do a single thing over and over again, because that gets a little boring. So if you have a hard plastic toy like this, you'll want to get into it. Basically, these toys are basically always held together by screws. So you can start unscrewing all the screws. Sometimes there are screws hidden. So they can be underneath battery compartments. They might be behind a sticker or behind little plastic plugs. So get off all the screws that you can find and start trying to open up, being careful not to be too aggressive with it. These things should just kind of open up easily once you get all the screws out. So if you're getting caught somewhere, there's probably a screw hidden somewhere that you need to locate first. If you have a plush toy, you probably are going to be cutting a seam, and we have a video on how to do that you should watch after this. So once you have got an idea of how the toy works, you've got the toy opened up, you'll find a couple different things. One, you might find a button that has wires that lead to that button. We have a video on how to adapt that. Or you might find a button that interfaces directly to a circuit board, and we have a video that shows you how to handle that. So once we're done with this video and you got the toy opened up and you figure out what your toy has, go ahead and watch the corresponding video, and that will walk you through it. But I want to go over a couple things first. The headphone jacks that we're going to be putting into the toy, they need to be secured somehow. So for a hard plastic toy like this, what we'll be doing is drilling a hole through the toy and fishing the headphone jack wire through the toy. For a plush toy where we're cutting a seam, we're basically going to just be kind of re-seaming that around the headphone jack wire. But for the hard plastic toys, we're going to be drilling a hole. You want to make sure you've got the toy opened up before you do that, and you have an understanding of how things are laid out inside. You want to make sure that you're not drilling through a circuit board or a structural piece. And you want to make sure that wherever you do decide to drill your hole, you're going to have enough length to get to the button, and that everything's going to be able to close together once you're done. Sometimes that's a little harder to figure out. So if you have any questions, ask us. The last thing I'll say about headphone jack wires is we need to secure them inside the toy. What we're trying to do is prevent someone from just grabbing the wire and pulling it out and yanking it and destroying all our connections. So for a hard plastic toy, we'll drill a hole through the toy, fish our wire through, and on the inside of the toy, we'll wrap a zip tie around our headphone jack wire and tighten really tight, cinch it down, and that will basically act as a physical barrier. So if a child or somebody were to pull on that cord, they don't just yank the whole thing out of the toy. But you want to make sure you get that on there before you close everything up. It's really important. So once you've got everything back together, again, put in a switch and make sure that everything works before we package everything back up. We try to make these toys look like if they were bought from a store, or look like new, so try not to damage the packaging too much. Try to preserve that and try to get everything back into place kind of the way it was. Sometimes it's easier said than done, but do your best to not destroy packaging or anything like that. So get your toy opened up, figure out how it works, figure out which button we want to adapt, and then watch the corresponding video based off of what you see, either the wires and the button or the circuit board.